Recently, Google released one new navigation library, Navigation 3, and this library is designed specifically for Jetpack Compose. Hello everyone, welcome to Native Mobile Bits. My name is Sachin Rajput. In this video, we are going to cover a lot of things related to Navigation 3, like why we should use it, what are the benefits of using Navigation 3, and earlier what problems we faced and what problems actually Navigation 3 is trying to solve and what are the key components of Navigation 3. And we are also going to build one demo application where we are going to use this newly launched Compose navigation library. Today we are not directly going to jump into the coding part. First, we are going to understand what actually navigation means and why Google released one new navigation library. Alright, once you understand all of these things, then we will go towards Navigation 3 libraries core components. We will understand how we can write all the core components of this Navigation 3 library. Okay, so now let's get back to navigation. Navigation is not the UI. Okay, navigation is not the UI part. In simple words, navigation means the way any user can move around inside any application. User can interact with UI elements like buttons. For example, user can click on any button or any UI element and then the app responds by showing up the updated content. This is the simple funda of navigation in almost every application in today's world. Before Navigation 3, handling navigation with events was a common practice. Let's say user is interacting on any piece of UI, user is clicking any button, then we were triggering one event that button is clicked and then based on that event we were handling the navigation part. Okay, we were updating the content inside the screen. But that was not a very good practice because our UI was totally based on the state, but at the same time, our navigation was not based on state. Navigation was based on events, and that was the main problem. UI is based on state, but navigation is based on events. In this approach, there could be multiple UI events, and some events could be missed as well. And if those events are missed, or dismissed by other priority events, how we should be handling the navigation in that case. That was totally based on our judgment call and it was not feasible. Let me give you one example here. In this approach, let's say user is trying to click on any button in the UI and UI data is updated with the updated state. But at the same time, we were triggering one event like button clicked and we were sending that event to our navigation. Okay, so that our navigation can update the new screen. But let's say in mid that event is failed. That event did not reach till the navigation system. So our navigation will not update the screen. Data is updated inside the state, but new navigation entry point is not showing up, which is wrong. And it could lead to multiple other problems as well. To handle these edge cases, we needed to think that how we can navigate properly, how to handle the navigation the right way. Okay. So the right ways rely on state. Instead of relying on events, we need to make sure that our navigation is also relying on the state. Okay, in previous scenario our navigation was always listening for events and based on those events we were handling the navigation. But the best way will be that if our UI and navigation both are relying on the state. And the benefit in this approach will be that UI and navigation both are listening to the same state. So there is no need of any events or any other thing. Navigation can also listen to the same state which UI is observing, and we can show the latest content based on the state. Okay, so navigation 3 library does exactly the same thing. With the help of navigation 3, we can manage our application backstack like a pro. So our application navigation will have multiple screens. Like let's say first we are on screen 1, then we are going to screen 2, and then screen 3, and so on. So we are keeping all of these screens in a backstack so that we can just pop the latest screen and go back to the previous screen. That's how backstack works in journal. So backstack is nothing but a stack itself. Stack is a very popular data structure and which is used here for managing our application's backstack. So stack works with two operations, push and pop. So whenever we are going to a new screen, we can push that inside the stack, and then if we want to go back, we can pop the topmost screen from the application backstack. Stack data structure works in LIFO order, last in, first out. So let's say starting state is having a screen A inside our stack. Then when we are going to one new screen, we are pushing that new screen on top of our stack. So now screen B is at top of the stack, and if we want to go back, we can just pop the topmost screen from our stack, which will leave us A inside our stack, and that's how our back stack will behave. And based on this, our UI will update. In Navigation 3 library, we need to create our own backstack, and our backstack will not contain the actual Jetpack Compose content, but it will contain reference to the actual content. So let's say there are 10 screens, so there will be 10 respective references, and these references are called key. Okay, and inside our backstack we are going to put all of these keys, and then based on that key we are going to show the respective screen. Now let's start coding, and let's use this navigation 3 library to implement the navigation system inside our Jetpack Compose project. Let's go to Android Studio. So here I have one brand new Android project. Let's delete this dummy piece of code. We are going to delete this from here as well. Okay, let's comment this for now. And now let's go to build.gradle. We need to add the dependency. To use navigation 3 library, we need to add these two dependency, navigation 3.runtime and navigation 3.ui. So let's copy these two dependencies. Let's add both of these dependencies here, and let's migrate this to version catalog and this as well. So we can see that these two new dependencies are added for navigation 3. Alright, we are using navigation 3.runtime and navigation 3 UI. We have defined the version 1.0.0 alpha 07. Right now this dependency is in alpha and latest update is on August 13th. Now we have added the dependencies here. Let's sync the project. Okay, so our project is synced and we are ready to use navigation 3 library. Now let's open the project window. Let's go inside our main package here and let's create one new package inside UI and let's call it screens. Okay, let's create very basic composable screens here. Let's call it screen A and let's create one composable screen A, and inside this we can use column. Let's use one modifier and we are going to use fill max size. Let's add some background color. We can use dot, let's say yellow, and inside our column we can use one text composable. Let's name it screen A. Okay, we can modify this little bit. Let's add font size. Let's use 25 SP. Let's add one modifier as well. We can use little bit of padding. Let's say 12 dp. Let's import this as well, and our screen A is ready. We can add one preview quickly. Let's append this with preview, and inside this let's use screen A. Okay, so our preview is showing up. We can add few more things here. Let's say vertical arrangement, arrangement dot center, and horizontal alignment, center horizontally as well. Okay, so we have created this screen A. Now let's copy this and paste here. Let's create screen B. We just need to use the updated name, and our screen V will be ready. Let's use some different color. Let's say green. We need to update this text as well, and our screen B is also ready. Alright, this is very simple screen. Now let's add one button as well inside screen A so that we can just navigate to the next screen. Alright, inside here we are going to use modifier dot wrap content size. Okay, and then we are going to use on click. This is going to contain one lambda. Inside button we are going to add one normal text with default font, and we can reduce this padding here, let's say 4 dp. Now our screen A is ready. Inside this we have this button and we want to click on this button and navigate to screen B. So first of all let's handle the on click. So we can just add on next button clicked. Okay, let's take this and define as a high order function here. Okay, we are going to define one lambda function and we will invoke this from this place. Okay, this means whenever someone will click on this button, we are invoking this high order function. Now our screen A and screen B both are defined. Now we need to implement the navigation part. Let's close all the other tabs, come back to our main activity. Let's define one composable and let's call it navigation 3 setup. So first thing we need to define our application back stack. Okay, so we can define one variable back stack, and we are going to use one list mutable state list of, and we can use any here, that means any type, and we are going to need the starting destination. Okay, so first of all, let's define the destinations: data object screen a key. Then we are going to define screen b key. We have two screens, screen A and screen B. We are defining their reference. Okay, these are the references. Starting destination is going to be screen A key. Alright, now this mutable state list of we are going to define inside one remember function like this, and our back stack is defined. Now next thing, we are going to take one container navigation display, this one. This is the container where we are going to fit all the different screens. Alright, so inside this navigation display, we can pass a load of things: back stack, modifier, and on back, etc. Alright, let's pass back stack. We can pass our own back stack. Then we can define what will happen when the back button clicks. So we are going to remove from the top. So we are going to say remove last or null. If there is some screen inside the back stack, remove from the top of the stack. Alright. Now next thing, we need to define different destination. Alright, different entries. So to define an entry, we are going to use entry provider, and here we are going to define different key references. Alright, so let's say we are going to define one when expression on top of this key, and inside this we are going to check is screen A key. If screen A key is there, we are going to define one nav entry. We are going to pass this key here, and inside this lambda we are going to access the actual screen. Okay, screen A. Let's import this. Then we are going to add check for another key. Same way, we are going to define one nav entry. We are going to add key, and inside lambda we are going to access second screen. We are also going to add one else case, and inside this else case we can write error unknown route, and we can just add this key value. Alright, now screen key has one high order function, that's why it is showing up this error. So here we can just define this lambda, and whenever someone will click on this button, we will get the callback here. And now inside our back stack, we can add reference to this screen B key. Okay, as I mentioned, we are only dealing with the references screen A key and screen B key. We can obviously enhance the names, which we will do in the upcoming videos, but for now I am keeping the names very simple so that you can grasp the concept. Alright, so this way we can define the navigation 3 setup We have defined our own backstack. Then we are using the nav display. We are passing our backstack. We are defining the strategy that what will happen when user will click on the back button. We are popping from the top of stack, and then we are defining the different entries using key. Now we can take this composable and we can add here. Okay, this is going to be the entry point, and here we have all of the entries defined. Let's try to run the application. So our application is installed, and if we click on this button, we can see that we are navigating to screen B. And if we click on this back button, we are going back to the screen A. Similarly, if we want to add one another screen, let's say screen C, let's update the name here. Let's update the name here as well. Our screen C is ready. Let's change the color to white. Okay, and it's inside screen B. Let's add one button like we have in screen A. Let's take this, add inside screen B. Let's define one high order function, add one empty lambda inside the preview, and here we are already invoking. So now let's go to our main activity, and inside navigation display, let's handle the high order function. On next button clicked. So here if we want to go to next screen, we can add one new screen C reference, screen C key, and we can just add here. Alright, and let's add one more reference inside our nav display, that if we are getting screen C, so we need to show screen C. Let's import this and let's delete this part. Okay, so we have added three screens and three references. Inside nav display, we are handling the back stack. We are just adding the next screen wherever we want to. So now let's say if we click on this, we are going to the next screen. If we click on this, we are going to the next screen. Now if we will click on this, we can see that from top of the stack one screen is removed. If we click again, one another screen removed from the top of the stack, and now this is the only screen which is present inside the stack. Okay, this way our navigation 3 library works. There are a lot of tricks we can do with navigation 3, and we are going to cover those in the upcoming video. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, do share the videos or the channel link with your friends, and I will see you very soon in the next video.